gotten your emails from MyStaff schedule and gotten your account set up. Is that right? Or
That's correct.
okay. Have you been able to log into the system yet and look at it?
Yes.
Okay, good, good. So there's also a mobile app. So you can go to the browser at mystaffschedule.com and log in there, or you can download the mobile app and use it on your phone or your iPad, tablet, whatever, and log in the same way. And the app is really nice. I like it a lot. You know, a lot of apps don't really look like the website and they're a little cumbersome, but this one's a really nice one. So if you use, you know, apps and things like that on your phone and that's your preference, you know, please check it out. So I will share my screen real quick and we'll just kind of walk through the system. And my view here is going to be a provider's view, not a chief or anything like that. So, and it's a little bit more complex because this is my test account and I have several locations listed on it. So tomorrow you'll just see Baptist Attala and then Neshoba on yours. So it won't be, you know, this robust for your view. Jason, you'll see everything. So the first screen you come to is just kind of the main dashboard, and the tab here called dashboard is how you would get back to this if you needed to look at it. This information is probably not something that you will even reference a whole lot, but it's here if you need it. So I'll just kind of walk through what's here. The first section is open shifts. So it's going to list all the facilities where you're credentialed and what's open for that next 7 days. So, you know, if you're kind of looking to pick up a shift in that 7 days, you'll be able to see at a glance what's open. And then the next section is just an overview of the next 7 days. It's going to give like any kind of alerts or anything like that that you might need to know. And then at the bottom section is going to show your facilities and how many providers are working on those specific days for the next 7 days. Again, probably not something you'll use a whole lot, if at any. The next tab on the schedule is really where you'll be using the system. So this is the Baptist Attala schedule. And so we'll just walk through what's on the screen here. So you've got all of your providers here on the left-hand side that are credentialed. And it kind of groups everybody into categories, you know, PRN versus our providers who work through leading locum anesthesia. And then it'll show that week and what shifts are taken by providers. And you'll see this X here. That means that the facility called us up and said, hey, we need to cancel this day. We don't have any cases. So you'll see that X from time to time. I know we have that a few times throughout the year on Attala. And we note that just by putting the X there so we can keep a record of it. You'll see also on the top left-hand side, there's a tab called codes, and this is just the codes we use for the facility. So Attala is pretty simple. You know, we only provide anesthesia there a few days a month. So we just have that one 8-hour CRNA code. And then, of course, I went over the X code for canceled shifts. And then we have the holiday code. So I'll show you about the holiday code and what we do on that when the facility may be closed for like Thanksgiving Day or Christmas and things like that. Over in the middle section, you'll see the date here or the date of the beginning of the week. So you can click on this date and maybe you want to look over into December and see what that schedule looks like. You can scroll back and forth through the months, or, you know, like you're here in November, maybe you just want to look at next week and see what's scheduled. So you can kind of filter through the calendar like that. And then I really like this next view here where it shows print view. You can look at 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or a month. And so I'm going to pull up this month view here, kind of show you what that looks like. So this shows you the entire month for Baptist Attala, and you can see who's working on each day. And then you'll see also here, we've got our holiday for Thanksgiving Day. And we just put that code in there to note, you know, this is a holiday where we won't need a provider. It doesn't pop up as any kind of open shift for you to take. And it's just kind of an alert for everybody. And I will say, none of the codes or anything in MyStaff schedule translate back to Paycom. So, our full-time providers in some facilities would get paid for a holiday or PTO and things like that. So you may see some of those codes on different schedules, but it's not syncing back to Paycom. So it doesn't relate to any type of pay code that you would be paid for. So just want to make note of that. And then, so this is more like an Excel spreadsheet kind of view, but you can also look at it on a calendar view. So there's a calendar view button here. And if you click that, it just brings up like a traditional calendar style view, and you can see who's working. So a lot of people like that view. Tamara, if you wanted to go in and say, what shifts am I working for November, kind of filter out everybody else, you could go to this staff button and you could select your name here. And when you select your name, you have to make sure you click this set button so it captures your name, and then hit this filter refresh button. And it's going to show you, well, this is October. Let me forward to November. It'll show you what you're scheduled for the month of November. So that's one thing you might use this particular view for. So I'm going to get back out of that and then talk about, how you might see open available shifts that you want to pick up. So if for this week that you're looking at, if there's an open shift, there will be a little bubble at the top of that day. And I think I saw one later in November. And there's a couple of ways you can do this also. So let me find it. Oh, so right here on the 25th. So this little bubble right here that says 8-hour CRNA means this is a day that's open. And I'm not sure why it's showing open because Jason White's showing working here, but so that may be something we need to correct. But say Jason wasn't in there or really did have an open shift. Tomorrow you could just click this little bubble, and in the staff section, it should only have your name to select. And then on the type, obviously we want people to pick up the full shift, but I do want to show you, it gives you the option of the first half, last half, or partial shift. We can't change that, but we do want people to pick up full shift. So you would leave the full shift option loaded there, and you can enter comments here. So Laura would be the one to approve all of this. So if you needed to leave her a note that there might be a situation where you could work, but you need to start at 7:30 instead of 7 or something like that, you would just leave that note in the comment box and then click sign up here. And so from that point, that notification would go to Laura, and she would review and make sure, we actually need somebody that day, that she hadn't already talked to somebody else or something like that. And she would either approve or decline you to work for that day. And then once that happens, you'll get a notification back to let you know, what's been done. So the notifications come to you by email. And if you have the mobile app downloaded on your phone, the app will generate a notification too, so that you know what's happening. And so if she does approve you to work that shift, you'll be put into the schedule, and then you'll be able to see it on this view. And then you'll notice over to the side, there's some columns here that kind of total the number of shifts that have been worked for the year. Now, keep in mind, we just loaded this schedule, towards the end of the year. So for 2025, it's not going to show you the full year because we don't have all of that in there. But when we start in 2026, it's going to give you sort of a year-to-date number of the shifts you've worked. So tomorrow, it'll show you how many 8-hour shifts you've worked for that year to date, and then how many holidays we've had. And let me note this too. So you can see here we're on 11/24. So this total in this column is only going to show you the total up to this week's point. So like if you wanted to scroll ahead to the end of December and see what you're scheduled for the entire year, at that point, it would give you the total for the entire year.
Okay, so that total is just for that facility, correct?
Yeah, just for this facility.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Brandy. Hey,
yeah.
Brandy, I got a question because
Sure.
you and I have done these, but I haven't been able to get on any of these with anybody yet. Is there a way that one of the CRNAs can pull up just themselves to see where they're working at multiple places? Like Tamar works at Attala and Neshoba. like, is there a way that they can pull themselves up and see where they're scheduled? I'm just curious. And if not,
They-
can we see if there's a way?
Well, kinda. So, there is, and I'll go over that. There is
Okay.
there's a feature where you can sync your calendar, like to your Google email or your iCloud or whatever, and it will put all your shifts at all facilities on your calendar.
Okay. But
And
there's no
so,
way for you to pull up a provider. Like, there's no way for a provider especially on the app, because most of us are just going to use the app. There's no way to pull up and see where I'm scheduled for the month.
no, but
Okay.
they're working on that. So I had a call with
Okay.
them earlier this week, and like right now, as an administrator, I can go in and run this report that tells me any kind of duplicates, like if tomorrow was scheduled at Attala, but also scheduled at Neshoba on the same day, it would give me an alert to that. And so that's like a testing thing they're doing, and it's soon to roll out. So providers or chiefs or whoever will also be able to see, multiple views, or like if they are duplicating their schedule on the same day, and like a better view for them to be able to see, hey, I'm working here this day and here this day, rather
Yeah.
than going to each facility.
Yes, that's
So it's
Randy-
in process.
okay. That's what they need.
Okay,
Mhm,
right
yeah.
now, my schedule interfaces with my schedule on my phone. When Laura sends out the schedule, all of that transfers automatically. Same thing with Neshoba. So I can see on my personal calendar where I'm scheduled each day. Is that going to change? That's kind of the only way I know not to agree to cover somewhere. I bring up that calendar and it shows, every place I'm scheduled.
Yeah, I'm going to show you how to do that with this system tomorrow. It's in another section, but I'm going to show you how to sync it up with your calendar on your phone.
Okay, great. Because I have the app too. I just had it on my laptop for the meeting so I could get a better look. But
Yeah.
it seems pretty simple, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's very easy and very user friendly. And these guys over at MyStaff Schedule are so helpful, and they've been so quick to respond to everything. So, as we have questions and things, we've gone right to them. And, some things are in process. Like I was just telling Jason, they're adding a lot of new features that'll be really exciting. So as we get alerted to those that they've rolled out, I'll make everybody aware of those things that are new as far as features go. But it's a simple system, definitely to use. So next tab would be the calendar. Now this probably is not going to be helpful for you tomorrow, but Jason, it might be for you. So this view, like especially if you're credentialed at a lot of different facilities, is going to show all the requests that people put in, or like swap shifts, or if they're on PTO, or they've given a notice saying I can work this week. This will populate on this calendar, and you can sync this calendar with your calendar on your phone by clicking this button. So we don't have any instances of any of these things I'm talking about for Attala, so it's not showing up here, but that's where it would show up. And I'm going to show you next on the My Request, the types of things that would show up here. So My Request would be used for several different things. So, and I'll go through it. So any type of request you're making, you would start by clicking the new button here, the little green button. And again, your name should be the only one that you see here to select. So the first example we'll use is maybe tomorrow, maybe you say, I have the whole month of February available to work. So you can go in and put in February the 1st on the start date, and put in February the 28th on the end date. And then you could go in and click this request to work button. So you could leave Laura a note that says, hey, I'm available Monday through Friday, every day in February, and then submit that to her. And so what Laura would do is go back and look at the schedule and see, okay, well, I could put her in on this day and this day, and then you would receive a notification back. And what that's going to do too is it's going to put a little notification on the schedule under you that says RW. So like if Frankie's working, but he has something that's emergent and he needs to take off, he sees, oh, Tamara said she was available to work. She requested to work, so I could swap with her. So it kind of gives everybody that view in case you need to swap, or if somebody has a last minute thing they need to cancel for or whatever. So that's one way that you would be able to use this. Another way is that you could pick, maybe there's one day that you and Frankie, or you and Ben Shirley or somebody want to switch shifts. So you could go in and pick the day here, and then you could go to swap. And then if you pick swap, it's going to pull up the whole list of providers that are credentialed at that facility. So you could pick another provider, and then you could write a note in here. Ben and I have discussed, swapping shifts on this day. So at that point, it would send Laura a notification, and she would be able to approve it, and it would swap those shifts in the schedule view. Some other things you could use this for, but you probably won't much. You could cancel a shift through this, and it's similar. You just put in the date, and then leave Laura a note and letting her know, and then she'll approve that. It'll remove you from the schedule. The one called memo and other, we may use that more for like a facility notification. So like on November the 6th, Baptist Attala canceled that day. So we may use that just to put a little notification at the top of the schedule that says, we've canceled this day due to lack of cases or something like that. So just general information that all providers might need to see or know, or for our records in corporate, so we can know, exactly why the shift was canceled. So those are the requests that you have access to. And then you won't be using the timesheet feature again, because it does not sync back to Paycom. So the timesheet is an actual place where you can clock your time, but we won't use that for now. There may be a time in the future where we have the two systems integrated, but for now, we won't use that feature. Also, the card feature, you probably won't use this either. It's really meant for facilities like where we've got a lot of providers and we're making assignments to different ORs or different surgeons and things like that. But, you can actually assign providers to different things on that card tab. So again, probably won't be using that at Attala. And then under reports, you could pull an individual shift report. This is similar to what I showed you in the calendar view. So you could pick a time frame here. So we'll just pick from November the 6th until, November the 6th until December 31st. Again, your name should be default here. And maybe you want to know the number of 8-hour CRNA shifts that you have worked, in that time period. So you would pick the 8-hour CRNA and then get report. Now this is me, so it's going to say no data found, but tomorrow, if you were logged in under yourself, it would show you the list of those shifts that you're working. So that's what you have there. You probably wouldn't use this validation report for anything. As far as you go, we use it for some things, on our end to help set up the schedule correctly. So I would say you don't even have to worry about that. And then over to the right-hand side, you've got your profile options here. So you should show your name and the little person icon. And the first selection is my profile. So this is where you would go if you needed to change your email address associated with the account. You could do that here. If you add your phone number to the account, it will send you text message notifications. So some people like that, some don't. Your schedule, once you give it to us, it really doesn't change a whole lot. So you probably wouldn't get a whole lot of notifications. But I was just talking to one of our chiefs in Memphis where we've got like 4 facilities where all the providers rotate. And they were like, can you turn the notifications off? They're being bombarded, So for you, it might be helpful. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine too. And then over to the right here, I want to explain what these mean. So if you have this first option on that says request notifications, you're going to get all notifications for the system for both Attala and Neshoba. So anytime a shift is swapped, if you're added to a shift, if we make a note on the schedule, you'll get a lot of notifications. So you might turn that on and just see how it goes. You may decide to turn that off. The next option is only to see the open shift notification. So if something pops up and shows that, hey, we have an open shift on this day, it'll send you a notification, and maybe you want to consider that day and you're able to go in and request that day. So that's what that means. And then push notifications is related to your mobile app. So that allows you to get notifications on the app. So you can kind of decide what you want to do there as far as what types of notifications you get from the system. Okay, the next thing is My Schedules, and this does not give you like your actual schedule, but it shows the schedules that you're associated with. So yours should say Baptist Attala and Neshoba, and then, you know, if you were ever get credentialed at another site, well, it would show up there too. So that's kind of where you can see what schedules you have access to. All right, and then on this create new schedule, you really won't use that feature as of now. There's a new thing that they're rolling out where you can actually go in and say yes or no to each day as to whether or not you're available, and it's called My Availability. So you wouldn't use this feature as of now. And then the bottom three are just related to MyStaff Schedule, the system. So on this help and FAQs, it just takes you to a portal that kind of addresses some frequently asked questions, tells you how to get in touch with customer support, that kind of thing. So feel free to peruse that if you want to. And then the next option would be training videos. They have a YouTube channel and there's some training videos on there. Most of them are really related to sort of the account owners and the people that are actually setting up the schedules. There are some that would be provider specific. So if you want to take a look at those, feel free to. They all are short and but very informative. So that's where those are. And then you have the contact us button, and this allows you to contact MyStaff Schedule directly. So if you were to run into any situation where it was like a technical support type of issue, you could put in like a ticket here and let them know, you know, I'm getting this code or this error or something like that that's system related, and they will get back to you on how to resolve that issue. If it's something with just like a general question about MyStaff Schedule, I can help you, Laura can help you, or you can ask them either way. And so I will say, if you do reach out to MyStaff Schedule, they've been very quick to respond with everything. It says here that, you know, allow us 24 hours to get back to you, but every time I've reached out, they get me an answer back within like an hour or two. So they're very responsive if you do, you know, run across any issues. So that's that. So tell me, what questions you have. I know I've gone over a lot, but again, it's a pretty easy system. So is there something maybe I didn't show that you think maybe this system should have or anything like that?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty straightforward and it looks simple. It sounds organized.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. That's good.
Well, I've really enjoyed like learning this the system so far, and you know, it's just worked well at all the sites we've done, regardless if they're a kind of a part-time situation like Attala or a larger location with multiple providers. It's worked well. So as you use it and get started in it, feel free to reach out with questions or comments or even feedback. MyStaff Schedule asks for feedback if we have any. So if there's something you want to see that it doesn't do, we pass along that information also. And I did start sharing this with the facility. So the folks over at Attala have it, and the folks over at Neshoba have it, and they're able to look at it and view the schedule, and everything on Attala is up to date. Laura and I had a call with Lisa yesterday over at Neshoba, and I'm going to be working on their schedule today to get all the particulars kind of set up for them. So
Yeah.
it'll be up and running soon.
Sarah at Attala told me that she had it when I worked day before yesterday. She said, I've got it in my schedule now. So that works out better. And Neshoba is a little bit fractured. You know how it seems like there's several people responsible for scheduling. So this will probably be a step in a really good direction for them too.
Yeah, they were excited. And I think it'll help resolve some issues. I think they've had two providers show up on some days when there was only supposed to be one and, some different things. So we have some improvements to make there, and I think this will help with some of that. So,
I think so too.
yeah. Okay, well, I'll send this video out that I've recorded to the whole group. But like I said, if you run across anything, if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me and let me know, and I will be happy to help you.
All right. Sounds great.
Okay, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your week and weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.